A good conversation is on Wednesday. Good morning, Isaac, and welcome to Money Matters.
Asante, it's good to be here as it is every Wednesday morning.
I brought you a special lady who is now my new host. Are you happy to see her?
I'm very happy.
Good morning, Isaac.
The flavor needs to be more different when it's just Jesse and I. So we're very happy to have you.
Same here, Isaac. It's good to see you.
On Money Matters today, we just want to dive into that conversation on how to save, spend, and think rationally about money. And that's what Isaac is going to help us with. But Isaac, I also found a very interesting news piece. It's in the New Times here. The title is talking about Rwanda's saving rate, which has reached 12% by 2023. Looks like a percentage to celebrate, but really not. Rwandans are not saving as much, and even the platforms that there be are not as plentiful, and maybe not so much initiatives to push. We only speak about Asia Heza, not so much pushed there. There is the fund. Aguka. There's, okay, I know about Aguka. There's another one, Iterambere Fund.
Yes.
Trying to push Rwandans to save, but the saving rate being at 12% means just a handful of Rwandans are saving.
Well, I think the reality is globally a handful of people are saving. Even in countries that have strong historic savings culture, like the Nordics up in Northern Europe, are saving much less now than historically. So we are living in a world, not only a Rwandan culture, but a global culture that doesn't very much encourage a savings culture, because to save it means to deny something. You have to give yourself some denial. You have to deny some gratification, to delay, and that mentality is kind of generation by generation. It's kind of falling away, unfortunately. So there's a lot of work to do to revitalize the culture of saving. That's number one. Number two, what I've observed in the time that I've been doing this kind of work is that one of the main reasons why we don't save, well, maybe two of the main reasons why we don't save, is because, first of all, we don't see an immediate value in saving. So somebody says, now if I save, what benefit will I receive for saving, right? On the one hand, it's on our financial services sector, our banking sector, to figure out incentives to help us save our money with them. Because it's not just, by the way, it's not just keeping money under the mattress or in the underwear drawer. The one which is qualified as saving is the money that is kept in the financial system. So in the banks, in the microfinance, in the SACCOs, things like this. In the mobile banking services with our mobile operators. Those are the ones that are counted. So there should be more incentive. What is the benefit for us to save? For the country, there are big incentives. We have more money to move around in the financial sector, to lend and to create commercial activity. We can encourage foreigners to give their money to us, because locals are. How do you encourage a stranger to save, to invest in your house when you don't invest in your own house? I don't know if I told a story of somebody who invited me for wedding meeting, and they had in the budget of 25 million. This was like 15 years ago. A budget of 25 million for Gusaba and for wedding. The amount that the couple themselves has set aside for their own wedding, it was less than 1%. Yeah. So how do you get other people? Okay, maybe I'm exposing my lack of cultural decorum right now.
No, but you should actually one should have probably fund like 80% of their budget.
At least you can, even if you don't say I don't have enough for everything, but you tell the community whom you are raising money for your wedding that we have been able to, between the boyfriend and girlfriend, fiancés, you've been able to raise X amount, 10%, 20%, 30%, you have done something. But somebody says I have less than 1% of the budget of my wedding. Now, what about a country that says I have...
What is he doing getting married?
We asked, how are you going to convince somebody's father that you're taking the daughter to your house? You have no money at all for the wedding. Even the wedding band and underwear and socks, you are put in the budget.
But also then, why are you letting people marry you a wife?
This is the question. Who is going to, I mean, how much confidence can you give someone's parents that you are ready to take care of their daughter? How much confidence are you going to give to someone's parents that you're ready to take care of their son when you have no finances to support your own wedding? Not even somebody else's, yours.
I'm also just imagining 10 years ago, 15 years ago,
It's
why
15
would you
years.
have a wedding for 25 million?
25M, and that's 25M is not simple money now. 25 million francs is not simple money today. Now, 15 years ago, that would have been something like 35, 40 million today, of today's money. So it's not, that's a heavy wedding, especially when you have less than 1%. But the same argument can be made for the country. You want people to come and invest in the country. You want people to come and build roads, build buildings, give jobs, invest in the special economic zone.
But you don't save as a
But
country.
we don't save as a country. How can others bring their money? You can't bring your own. So there are many reasons for us to want to save, to build our economy, to build the future for our children. But we need to do more to encourage, to educate, to encourage people that there are benefits for individuals to save.
You know, when you say it, you don't bring your own.
Yeah.
Then I started to imagine, but do we have it?
Aha, this is the second problem. I said maybe two problems. One is that there are not very many incentives, huh?
Yeah.
Or we don't see them. The incentives are there, but we don't see them. The other one is, where do I get money to save? You know, we're having expendable income. Now, one of the big problems about saving is that most of us think about saving after we
spending.
spend. I get my money, I go chop. Oh, I chop my money, yo. I go take my friends, my lady friends out, and we drink and we have party and we celebrate. No problem. You celebrate, have a good time. But if we spend before we save, usually you'll find that there's nothing left.
Sure.
Because there's not enough money that exists in this world that cannot be spent. Even Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are still looking for money. They're still doing harambe. They're still doing fundraising. People who are billionaires are fundraising. What are they fundraising for? Right? So if we spend first and then save, there'll never be money. The question is, how do we save first before we are spending? It's to be on a plan. It's to be organized. It's to be disciplined. It's to automate, to make it automatic, taxing ourselves. This is the way that we taxing our present self. Let me drop a bomb. Tax your present self. Tax yourself today for the benefit of your future self.
You know, the problem that I see is saving looks like that beautiful thing
Yes.
that we all wish to do,
Yeah.
and we know its benefits, but we do not. It's like wanting to have that perfect summer body,
But you can't work towards
But you
it.
can't
you keep
build
thinking
every day.
You know, like me, I keep thinking
One
of
day.
going to a walk
Uh-huh.
to be healthy.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of going to the gym to build my muscle. But then it's just a good thinking
It's a good thought. And you congratulate yourself. Yeah, I
for
thought
thinking
well.
about it.
I've thought well. Huh? Hey, going for a walk is a good idea. I've thought very well,
Never put into practice.
but never practice. Well, this is one of the major factors that not only saving but make us unfit, physically and financially, because we do a lot of thinking and we congratulate ourselves for good thoughts. We even have good conversations like the one we're having now. This is a good conversation. Yeah, we did well to talk about this today, and then you do nothing about it. So I like to equate physical fitness and financial fitness. There's similarity because there are things that you have to know to be fit physically, like going on walks and drinking water and eating well. But knowing alone is not enough. You just knowing that you should do these things won't make you fit. Knowing that you should save and set some money aside for investment activities is good to know. It's true, you should do them. But if you don't do it, knowing alone is not enough. You have to have some kind of daily application to become financially fit. So it's good to have conversations. It's good to expose yourself to people who know more, who are further ahead than you, people who have written down their thoughts and have succeeded in life financially. It's good to know these things. But until you get yourself around the kind of community, the kind of network, friendship circles that are focused. You know, people who get physically fit tend to be around other physically fit people.
True.
And they are focused. I think there's a statistic somewhere in research said that over 70% of people who are fit are fit because they have a group. They have a fitness group. People who exercise alone, they are like 3 or 4 times less likely to meet their goals, physical goals. So having a community of people who have that mindset of, hey, wake up, let's go for the walk. It's not enough to say, I'm going to go for a walk. Hey, get up, let's go for the walk. That kind of community is what, and by the way, walking is one of the best ways to get healthy. In fact, I don't know if there's a better one. Leave the gym. Gym is another story. That's when you want to
I think gym is to
impress
tone you.
people. You want to be toned. You want to take off your shirt and impress people. That's. But to be
Yeah,
fit,
and take
especially
pictures.
inside and take photos, Instagram. But to
Social
be
media.
physically fit, to be fit inside your organs and inside your muscles, is walking. And walking, anyone, if you have 2 legs and they work, you can walk.
I
So
used to do
Isaac-
a lot of that.
Yeah.
Is it possible in this world we're living in, which is the bad culture of not saving? Is it possible? Because it's very common, it's everywhere. We have a bad culture. We do not know how to save, or we do not save.
Yeah.
Is it possible to force an individual to forcefully save?
It is very possible, and I
To
encourage it.
force.
By force. Let me say again, by force. You know, there was a time where this was a historic event in the United States. There was a time when people would declare their income, their salary. You declare to the revenue authority, Rwanda Revenue. You declare when you make salary, and then when you declare, you pay. Kind of like how business people do now. You declare when you make a profit, or even when you don't make a profit, or when you make money. The problem with that method, the revenue authority quickly noticed that the problem with that, the revenue authority in the US, they noticed that the problem with allowing people to declare when they make their own salary is that people were not declaring. People would not say anything. And if you don't say anything, it's hard to know when Jesse has made income, when Isaac has made income. The state doesn't know when. So they changed the policy to say, okay, instead of asking individuals when they make a salary, we are going to tell all companies by force, when you are paying salary to your employees, before you give them their money,
Take off.
take off our tax. If you don't do it, we'll remove your license to do business. So that way, what happened is now automatically, by responsibility given to administration, finance, HR in each company, government was able to collect automatically income tax
As a way of compliance.
as a way of compliance. Now, the key thing is to make it automatic. Before you get your income, your salary, make a tax for yourself. Make in the company, agree as a staff, agree as HR benefit. Before we give our employees their salary, first we will take off tax, then we will take off percent of savings. 5%, 8%, whatever. You can even match it so we can have some kind of benefit in the company. I strongly encourage financial wellness at the workplace. I do these trainings all the time, everywhere I go. If you have people in your office, if you're paying them salary, force them to save. They will thank you later.
Sure.
Listen, but and the things already happening. We have RSSB. Normally they'll tell you you have your gross gross salary, and then your net salary. That means you're paying away to RSSB, isn't it?
RRA, RSSB, there are so many. Mituele.
Should I
there's,
go home and say, guys, I'm already saving automatically?
No, but you are. You are. When you're like you're mentioning with the Social Security Board, you have mandatory savings. Mandatory pension. That's what it is. Huh? You don't have a choice. Nobody's asking you, do you not want? No. By force, you have to put money in a statewide pension program. And by the way, that money that is saved through RSSB, it's gone to investment activities for the country. Yeah. However,
Well, you have no say.
also that one you don't have. you will just come when you're retiring
You actually
and
have,
collect
It
money.
will be after a couple of years. How about that money that I will need after I'm done with this job?
This is the other thing. So when you're talking about saving, it's not just pension you need to be concerned about. Now, RSSB, mandatory pension planning, very good. But that's not the end of the story. You also need, what if you lose your job, like you just mentioned? What happens if you lose a job? Where is your emergency fund to help you when another COVID strikes, for example, and you lose a job or you can't work? What happens if you want to go on holiday? Where's the plan for that? What happens when you are, maybe yes, RSSB there, public pension is there, but you want to make your own retirement program, the one that is more aggressive, the one that will give you more money when you retire. Where's the plan for that? Where's your insurance if your company is not providing it for you? Or maybe a more robust insurance than the one that's provided at the office. All of these things are financial vulnerabilities that we have to organize for throughout our working career.
I was like, let's try to set a plan here. If you could start by talking about having a savings plan, one that works. Because like
Not
I
the
know
one that
so
doesn't
many of
work.
us, we have this plan, get into
Yeah.
the Excel and say, okay, fine, if I make $1 million,
Yeah.
this is what I would do. Take on this, and put it here and
Yeah.
here. Go open up multiple bank accounts and say, put my 50,000 here, put my
Yes.
10,000 here, and that's it.
Yeah.
2 days later.
Whee!
You've cleared all the bank accounts. Yes.
Yeah. Somebody says, let's
So
go
does that even make
let's
sense?
go to Gisenyi. There's an event somewhere.
Yes.
Let's go to Kibuye. Let's go to stadium. So, generally speaking, there are many generic or standard savings plan that exist. I don't like standard plans because they don't meet your individual needs. Yeah. So, what I would say, number one, is before we talk about how to save, the first question is, where does your money come from? How much is it? Where does your money go to, and where does it go? That is the basic definition of a budget. How much money do you have? Where does it come from? And how much money do you spend? Where does it go to? When you know this, you can have a hard look in the mirror, a reflective moment to look at yourself and say, do I need to spend the way I'm spending? Especially if I want to plan for my financial fitness. Next step, that's the first step. First step is to get a budget. The second step, well, maybe should say the first step is to open your mind that you need to find ways to become financially fit. That's the first. It's a mindset change. But then the second one is to get a budget, to put together a budget, and one that you will stick to. The way you stick to it is by realizing that saving money and investing money, it is a basic need. And I do this in training all the time. This is also a mindset shift. Saving and investing is not something you do after you spend. It's something you do first. It's your first line item in your budget is, what should I save? What should I invest? Do not pass 15% of your income, generally speaking, both for saving and investing. 20% is really the absolute maximum anyone should save. And that's if you're financially very well off, 20%.
You can choose certain months to even save 100%.
Now, if you do that, the problem is, I call saving and investing like a marathon running. If you get into a marathon and you move with full speed, like full salary, what will happen?
You may not complete.
Even leave alone completing, even the first kilometer. How many of us can? How many?
Let me give you a scenario.
Go
You
ahead.
see, you choose not to rush to live by yourself. You
Yes.
know you are working. You are still young, so you save up on rent and still stay with your parents.
So what you do?
Save the money.
Tell your parents. That's good. That's a good plan. You tell your parents, which I encourage, by the way, because many in as generations pass, newer generations, Gen X, what is this, millennials, huh?
Then the alphas.
Then
Alphas.
these are alphas. Who knows what the alpha, what alpha they are? Alpha of what? Anyway, if you, the closer we are getting to the 21st century, the longer young people are staying at home with their parents, statistically, globally speaking, just for many reasons. Now, if you know you're staying home with the parents and you're working, whatever you would have paid rent, that should become a saving. Don't look at, I'm staying at home with my parents, so I don't need to pay rent, so I can eat my money. No, build that discipline that you are lucky you have parents to house you. If they don't charge you rent, which maybe they should. If they don't charge you rent, which maybe they should, but if they don't, either you pay the rent to your parents or you pay the rent to your savings. Either way, you should pay rent, right? Either way, you should pay for where you live. If you're working, you should pay for where you live. Either way. And if you are living on a very tight budget, this is another hard conversation I generally encourage. If you're living on a very tight budget because your needs are passing which almost everyone says, my needs are so many, my money is not enough. Then we need to find a way to downgrade your life. This is a hard conversation many people don't want to hear. But if we are going to be financially responsible, if we're going to get fit, even when you're talking about physically fit, are you overeating food?
You want to call it irresponsibility?
Overeating is irresponsible. There's no two ways about it. If you are regularly overeating, and I'm looking at myself, if we are regularly overeating, you are not responsibly managing your body. Yeah. Because when you're young, you are strong, your body will fight with that food.
Some people say they're just rewarding their bodies.
Don't worry. You will reward yourself. There's somebody who made a very good quote, and I love it so much. I think it was a several hundred-year-old quote. He says, all people dig our graves. All people dig our graves with our teeth.
True.
With what we eat.
With exactly what goes in your mouth. The difference is some people are digging very fast.
To go in.
To enter. And others are digging slowly. But all of us are digging. Now what you put in your mouth will eventually put you in the ground.
True. It's the same quote the doctor told me is you'll mate eat yourself to your grave.
That's the one.
That is it.
And enjoying, by the way. Enjoy your way to the grave. I'm not saying you're suffering. But there's a point that will come when you will suffer.
Let's talk about discipline. When you want to develop discipline, an approach to managing your money, especially when you have this regular temptation, temptations and impulsive buying. You just want to get stuff. Some of us are just gatherers. You want another watch. When you see it, you want to get it. You see another perfume, you want to buy it. Out of impulse, because you saw it on TV, you saw it on IG, you want it.
There's nothing wrong with wanting things. There's nothing wrong with gathering things. There's nothing wrong with spending your money on things that you like.
After all, it's your money.
After all, it's your money and you worked for it. The problem comes in when we are spending for impulses and for desires, sacrificing our children's food, sacrificing our children's education, sacrificing our health in later years, sacrificing our retirement. This is the problem. Because I think most of us will sacrifice a perfume to make sure our child doesn't starve to death. I think most of us will sacrifice a new shoe to make sure we pay school fees. I think that's a worthwhile sacrifice. Okay, maybe I'm speaking out of turn.
For yourself.
But maybe I should talk for yourself. Talk about yourself. Those children can find their own food.
How about those who have not even children? They don't pay school fees.
But one day,
school fees will come.
One day school fees are coming. One day retirement is coming. One day you'll be sick. One day you will not be as strong as you are today to hustle the way you hustle today. That day is coming.
Sure.
Now, what's the plan for that? So there's nothing wrong with, but when we don't plan our spending, when we don't plan our financial life, when we don't plan our physical life, maybe let me take money out of it so I don't keep upsetting people. If you don't plan your physical life, you're not going to be strong like you are today forever. You're not going to be fit today. You're not going to eat 10 kilos of sugar every day for your whole life like you can do when you're 10 years old. 10 years old, you can dump a half a kilo of sugar in your stomach and smile and go to sleep. If I did that today, my kidneys will explode. If I chew a half kilo of sugar today,
20
bonbons, I will collapse. And by that, I'm not joking. That is an exceeding sugar spike for somebody who is on the fourth floor.
Even in the third floor.
Even on the second floor.
Even in the second
floor. So we're also seeing, if you look globally, we're seeing earlier and earlier instances of young people with type 2 diabetes. Children.
And it's entirely lifestyle.
Children, 7, 8, 9 years old with type 2 diabetes.
Is that genetic?
No, type 2 is lifestyle entirely.
There's a genetic predisposition, yes. People who have a history of diabetes in the family. But usually it's not that the genes are holding diabetes inside. It's that the way we eat in the house for generations is causing certain type of lifestyle diseases, right? So if we don't plan the way we use our money, then we will have a lot of perfume and our children will starve.
We have just about a minute, Isaac. I want us to talk about this planning aspect. Is it something you take yourself on a retreat? Because planning also might sound a big thing for maybe the educated people who are used to, go for retreat, sit down, start planning your life, whiteboard,
Yeah.
markers and all of it.
Yeah.
Do you need to do that? You plan your life like that.
Whiteboard
You
and
need-
markers.
I know. It's
Let's have
weird.
our whiteboard and our markers and we sit down.
And
So
plan our lives.
there are two things, and we plan everything. There are two things. First of all, financial wellness at the workplace is a campaign that we have been running since the beginning, end of last year. And it's a program that we've been running to help organizations encourage their staff to manage their money better. Because if we're in financial stress, which most of us are in, because of bills and costs and lifestyle and inflation, all these things, usually more salary will not help you if you're in financial crisis. Because most of us are making more salary now than we were 10 years ago, and we're still in financial problems. The Financial Wellness in the Workplace campaign is to help our staff members in all organizations manage their money better so they can reduce their financial stress. Find us LinkedIn, Isaac Ngusizi. Stay tuned to Royal FM, because very soon we're going to be rolling out the Money Making Sense podcast, where we're going to have people come and talk to us about planning and the success that they've had planning for their money. So planning is doable. It takes some time. You don't necessarily have to go to a retreat with a white marker. You can spend one day and we sit down and we clarify these things.
Yes, thank you so much, Isaac. A minute into the news here on Kigali in the morning. Jesse and Gillian, I take you all the way to 10 o'clock.
Join the money conversation.